What's up, everybody? I'm back, and today we have some big boxing news. I'm gonna switch lanes from the UFC over to the boxing, which I love. And the biggest breaking news of today, it got leaked on the internet. Bud Crawford, Terrence Bud Crawford, the reigning defending undisputed, three-time undisputed world champion at 3 different weight divisions. Terrence Bud Crawford, his next fight got leaked. He's going to go down to 160 pounds in the middleweight division to take on Carlos Adames for his WBC title. This will be the first fight in his new contract, I believe, with Riyadh season. Honestly, I thought he was going to go for the twofer. I thought he'd go back down and take on Janibek Alikmanoli for the WBO IBF, get 2 for 1. But he's going to start with Carlos Adames, and I'm not mad at it. He's going to go down to 160, start with 1, and then march his way up to the other 3. I believe he will get this one done against Adames. Either Janibek will fight him for the other 2 for the WBO IBF, and then the last one, the WBA title holder, Lara, it is Landy Lara, will have nowhere else to run. He's going to have to put it on the line against Terrence Bud Crawford. And like I said, he will go down, take all the titles, and be the 4-time undisputed in 4 different divisions. Terrence Bud Crawford will be the new king at 160. That's the biggest breaking news of today. But as of right now, he's taking on Carlos Adames from what I'm seeing. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I love to see another motherfucker go down to try to be great. Bud did it again once before against Canelo, and now he's going to go down there and he's going to collect all the titles at 160 and be a 4-time undisputed world champion in the 4th division. I cannot wait. That's great news for boxing. The other news, we have the Erickson Lubin versus Virgil Ortiz fight happening here in Fort Worth, Texas, Saturday. Lubin 27-2. Virgil Ortiz 23-0. Lubin's only 2 losses are to Sebastian Fendora back in 2022. He got stopped in the 9th round. He actually dropped Fendora in the 7th, had him hurt bad. Fendora roars back, puts the work on him. Lubin's corner stops the fight between the 9th. Fendora retains the WBC title. And then before that, he had lost to Charlo back in like 2020, I believe. First round knockout. So, I mean, he hasn't lost to just chumps. You know, he lost to some of the best guys in the division. But now he's taking on Virgil Ortiz. Virgil coming off the win against Israel Madrimov in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. It was a unanimous decision. And then before that, it was like one of the biggest banger of a fight of the year against Sergey Boychuk. That was a majority decision, but man, it was a great fight. Both guys, back and forth, slugfest, like giving you all the fucking Mickey Ward Arturo Gatti vibes. I'm not comparing it to that fight, but you got the vibes from the fight because these guys were hitting each other with every fucking thing they had. If they had the kitchen sink, they'd throw it too. But this is going to be a great fight. Like I said, in Fort Worth, Texas, 15 minutes away from me. I will be there. I don't know if it's going to be in a seat ringside or it's going to be in a suite, but we're going to be there. I'm going to bring the content before, during, and after. I think Virgil gets it done, and I think Virgil stops Erickson Lubin in this fight. Other boxing news. Fight Hub TV had an interview with Oscar De La Hoya, the Golden Boy. He was talking about a couple of things. His relationship with Ryan Garcia, and he was very honest. You know, I'll give that to Oscar. These days, he's very open and honest about everything that's going on. He said that the relationship between the two, it doesn't need work. You know, Ryan has got a lot of people in his ear, and that's not unknown. You know, for somebody who's a superstar like that, to have people chirping in your ear, trying to sway you one way or the other, you know, that's not unknown, you know. But Oscar, he knows better than anyone how this game goes. So I think he's trying to keep a good relationship with them. He was asked about what does he want next for Ryan, because he still is under contract. he said specifically Ryan is still under a multiple fight contract, and he believes that Ryan will, work that contract out. He's not going to go anywhere. But they asked him about, how does he think Ryan's feeling? How's his mental attitude right now? And Oscar was straightforward. He goes, and I said this before when they announced the possibility of the fight between Ryan and Mario Barrios. And Oscar took the words right out of my mouth. He goes, if Ryan focuses, trains hard, locks in, he goes, I wouldn't even be mad if he goes to Big Bear and isolates himself for a couple of weeks. Get ready for the fight. Lock in on the sport that you love. Ryan loves boxing. He goes, I could see Ryan coming back in the first quarter of the year, fighting Mario Barrios. He was asked about the possibility of the rematch with Rolly, and Oscar downplayed it. He goes, the fight was kind of boring. Outside of the knockdown by Rolly, it was just not a really good fight. But I think that's just him being a promoter, protecting his fighter. I get it. And then he mentioned at the end, I could also see a fight with Ryan and Manny Pacquiao. He mentioned that until the host, I can't remember his name, but shout out Fight Hub TV. I love the channel. He said that Pacquiao is already in talks with Floyd Mayweather for a Netflix fight. And, man, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but after seeing Manny Pacquiao fighting Mario Barrios for a legit world title, Manny still got it. He still got a little bit of gas left in the tank. But a lot of people don't like Floyd for multiple reasons, and that's okay. You can have that opinion. I've always been a fan of Floyd. I loved how he fought when he was Pretty Boy Floyd. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people forget. He wasn't always Money Mayweather. He wasn't always defensive Money Mayweather. When he was Pretty Boy Floyd, when he was knocking down Jose Luis Castillo, Diego Corrales, Arturo Gatti, Zab Judah, he was knocking motherfuckers down. Like, he is a Mayweather. That is a lineage that you can't break. No matter what you think about it, his dad was a bad motherfucker. His Uncle Roger, was a bad motherfucker, even though he got stopped by Julio Cesar Chavez twice. But still, that don't take nothing away from what they did. That is a fighting family, a legit fighting family. And Floyd grew up in that, and he's a bad motherfucker. So, Manny wants this to be a legit sanctioned fight. He wants Floyd to put that 50-0 record on the line. He doesn't want this to be an exhibition. He wants it to be a real fight. Both guys in their late 40s. Shit, I think, Pac might be 50 almost now. He's pushing 50. Floyd's pushing 50, if they're not already. But I can see that Pac wants it back. But Floyd is kind of like, why would I put that on the line? Like, why put my legacy on the line? But if he did, I think I'd still take Floyd to win. And that might rub a lot of people wrong. But even when they fought, back in, 2013, 2012, it's been a couple years already. I remember because we watched the fight at my house. But Floyd was already kind of older. Manny was older. Manny had the shoulder injury. He didn't fight like he usually fought. Yes, he was injured, but still, you sign the contract, you got to go in there and fight. And Floyd fought his fight. Floyd never changes the way he fights. He always fights the same way. When he became Money Mayweather, right? Yes, he made the change from Pretty Boy to Money, but when he got older, he had to be more defensively sound. He always had hand problems, and Manny just couldn't find him in that fight, and Floyd outboxed him in that fight. Whether he had the injury or not, you still signed the contract, and it is what it is. I mean, let's not be around the bush. The fight happened. Did we want it to happen 3-4 years earlier? Of course. I would have saw that. I wish that fight would have happened 3-4 years earlier, when Pacquiao was running through all the fucking welterweights, when he was running through Margarita, when he was running through Cota, when he was running through RIP, the Hitman, Ricky Hatton, when he was beating all these guys, yes, we would have saw. I wish we could have saw it. After he demolished De La Hoya, that's when the fight should have happened. But it didn't. It just didn't. And that was boxing back then. We didn't have a Turkey Al Sheikh back then forcing fights to happen when they should have happened. But if this fight happens and it is a sanctioned fight, I hope Manny comes hungry. I really do. I hope he comes hungry. I hope he tries to go for the KO. But, man, I just think Floyd's on another level, man. When it comes to defensive boxing, hit and not get hit, Floyd is the best. So, Floyd is like one of those, he's like the Tom Brady types, man. Tom Brady's John Jones. You just can't bet against him because he always proves you wrong. So, yeah, man, that'd be a good fight for Netflix. It'd pull a lot of draw. As much as I would like to see Manny win by like a brutal knockout, you just never see it with Floyd. You never see it with Floyd because he never puts himself in those positions to get knocked out like that. I mean, you have your little... He's only been hit like 3 times in his whole career like that, versus Shane Mosley, Castillo, Marcos Maidana. Those are like the only 3 times I can remember. He might have got clipped by Zab Judah one time, but I don't think so. But even then, that's only 4 times in his entire career that he ever got clipped hard. He's so defensively sound. You can't beat a guy who never gets hit in boxing. So that's another big point of the boxing news. Another one, Oscar was asked about Zurdo Ramirez, Vito Ramirez, Zurdo. He's out with hand surgery. Oscar said that he'd probably be back in the first quarter of next year, so 2026. And he said there's 2 open fights for him right now, for Zurdo. He can unify the titles with Jay Opataya, which I think would be a great fight. Or he can go the money route and fight Jake Paul. Do I think Jake Paul takes that fight? Absolutely not. I mean, honestly, I think it would do a lot for his name, his brand, to show some good faith with the real boxing purists and the real boxing fans to fight a cruiserweight in the division that he keeps saying that he wants to be a world champion in. He keeps saying, I'm going to be a world champion, but you're not fighting any contenders in the division that you fight in. So if you were to fight Zurdo, because Francis Ngannou already came out, I'm not fighting you. Nate Diaz, it's been crickets. He hasn't came out and said nothing. Nobody else is stepping up to fight him after the Tank Davis fight got canceled. So, I mean, those are 2 good opportunities. Another opportunity that Oscar said that I kind of got excited about was, if David wins his next fight and can't get a fight against Bivol, he moves up to cruiserweight and fights Zurdo. That would be a great fight. That would be an amazing fight. David is a big guy. He cuts weight to make light heavy. So I think he'd come in at cruiserweight and do pretty well. Zurdo has a big hit, a big punch. But, man, David, the combinations, the speed, I think is too much for anybody at cruiserweight right now. So I think that'd be a great fight too. The last thing I saw, Robert Garcia Boxing Academy got recognized for having the deepest stable in boxing. I love Robert Garcia. I love his academy. I've always been a big fan of Robert, his dad, everything they did at La Colonia back in Oxnard. When Fernando Vargas, he was one of my favorite fighters of all time. When he was making his rise, it was because he had Robert and his dad, the big G, in his corner. I love that entire stable back when they were at La Colonia and Oxnard. When Fernando fought Oscar, I was a big fan of Oscar, but I was absolutely just so hyped for Fernando Vargas. You know, when he went from ferocious Fernando Vargas to El Feroz, the Aztec warrior, like, I mean, it got me, man. I was the biggest Fernando Vargas fan. Like, I mean, I wanted that haircut so bad, just the shaved head with the fucking bangs. But man, my dad, he was just like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. You know, I was a young kid still in high school, but I loved Fernando Vargas. I loved Robert Garcia. I loved his dad, the Big G. I mean, he's already made 3 world champions because he made Robert, he made Fernando, he made Mikey Garcia as well, even though Robert was his trainer during those fights, but it was all from the mind of the Big G, you know, their dad, Big G. So, but I was like looking down the stable, I'm like, they have the best stable, the deepest stable. You got Bam Rodriguez right now, world champion. Virgil, champion. Rayo, Jose Valenzuela, he just lost his title. He's going to get it back. I mean, he will make adjustments and make it back, but he was a world title holder. Jose Ramirez, 2-belt world champion at 140. And then you got guys coming up like Raymond Murataya. He's undefeated right now at lightweight. Lindolfo Delgado, he's coming up. Then there's another one. God damn, I can never remember his name. He's from San Antonio too. He's coming up. Like he's got so many guys, but the culture that he makes in that gym is what makes that gym great because he's always bringing guys in to spar. He's always bringing guys in to work with each other. He's got so many guys that are the same weight in that gym, constantly forcing each other to fight and spar. Iron sharpens iron, and that's just like one of the realest sayings that there's ever been in combat sports. Iron sharpens iron. No egos, no big naming each other. Let's just get this work and make each other better. And that's what Robert Garcia's gym does better than any other gym in the United States, I believe. Robert Garcia, I love his gym. His family's from Michoacan. My family's from Michoacan. And nothing makes me more happier than to see another Michoacano, another Mexicano do big things. You know, he was coach of the year last year or the year before. He got snubbed so many times before that. I think he's a 2-time coach of the year. But, man, the stable that he's building right now is fucking incredible. And I'm so happy for him. Viva Michoacan, cabrones. I'm so happy for Robert Garcia and everything they do out there. And that's the last thing I have as far as the boxing talk. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share with everyone that you know that loves boxing and MMA. See you on the next one. Peace.